Oh, great. Now I got the pole between my
Now
legs.
you're live.
We can switch a little bit.
No, we're good.
We're live.
No,
though.
whatever you want.
You want the pole between your legs. You said it.
No. It's whatever makes you happy.
You said you want the pole between your legs.
Anyways, what is going on, everybody? We are just breezing right through. No intro anymore.
Yeah, we're just ditching it.
We're
It
done.
wasn't working.
It wasn't.
It wasn't working.
It was causing Zach having headaches, and
we didn't even have time to even do it right.
Well,
So if you're not gonna do it right, just don't do it.
we're just so fast and efficient around here nowadays. So what's going on, everybody? It's Matt, Brian, and Zach. We're here with TRS Live. Today we want to talk about the new release that we put out there last week for head-to-head fishing.
Yep.
We released that we are going to be doing 9 walleye events as well. So that's
and 9 bass events.
So that's a grand total of 18 different head-to-head events.
Show me one other tournament organization that is running 18 events in 1 year.
Yeah.
Please.
All of them.
I know you. I know they can't do it.
I can't. I'm looking into all these events, and
Doesn't exist.
It doesn't happen.
No.
So
That's because the format's just unique enough that allows us to do that.
Yep. And then some other things we want to talk about are just overall how the weekend went for everybody. So hopefully everybody out there that's watching today had a good weekend. I got out and did a little hunting. I want to try to get out here. I got 3 days.
No blood in woods.
No blood. I got 3 days to try to shoot the buck I saw last night.
But these cold now. We got cold temperatures, right?
Yeah.
You're super cold.
Yeah, they're saying like a high of 1.
He's gonna be on his feet.
Yep. Well,
what kind of
he
deer are
came
we
out.
talking about?
He's like a 3-year-old 9-pointer.
Yeah, but that's nothing.
No, he's
See, don't give me that. Oh, it's a 3-year-old. That's a nice deer though.
Oh, I'm shooting him. I just said he comes in range of the smoke
sounded
pole.
apologetic.
Woo!
Did he not sound
3-year-old
apologetic?
9-pointer.
He sounded a
Well,
little
I'm talking to
apologetic.
Brian.
He sounded apologetic.
Talking to Brian. He's
Yeah,
like,
but-
yeah, zoo.
It's
What's up,
only
Paul
about
Coot
3 years
Williams?
old.
I don't like
He's
that
joining.
whole apologetic crap.
Well, I'm not. I'm going to shoot the damn deer if
Shoot the
he comes
damn
in
deer.
range.
Hell
So
yes.
I got tonight, Tuesday night, and then Wednesday night to get her done because I don't have a buck tag left. I got to do it with the muzzleloader. So my
Awesome.
tactics are I have a cut bean field that I'm sitting on, and currently that's where I was last night. So if anybody paid attention to the TRS either Facebook or Instagram stories, I tried to do my best last night.
I was sharing them to the Real Shot stuff.
Yep. So I'm going to try to do that every chance I get out
Were
here.
you sharing them too to the Real Shot?
Yep.
Should I not do that then? Because we probably double shared it.
We're probably double share. It doesn't matter.
I know, but I don't think anybody wants to see
So
that much.
here's what I do is I do them both ways. Like both ways. So
Ayo.
I'll go on Instagram and TRS Outdoors and I'll share some, and then I'll
Alright.
go to my page and share some. So we get. I just want some followers.
You get cross
promotion.
sharenization.
Yeah, I want some followers to come over and join me at Hot to Trot 5. So
Where did you come with that name? I've always wondered where that name came
my
from.
last name obviously is Trots, and in high school a lot of people would call me Trut. I don't know, just shorten it up.
Okay.
So, but then as I was growing up, it was my family, like the slogan in our family or whatever you want to call it, we're always Hot to Trot.
Okay.
So, and then the 5 is how many people are in my immediate family.
Oh, nice. I figured the 5 came from that, but the rest
Yeah,
of it.
Hot to Trot.
Which is weird because I always thought the 5 was just supposed to be like an alphanumeric for the Z. Or is your last name a Z or an S?
Z.
Z. I thought it
Yep.
was like that, so it'd be
Yep.
like your last name. You
See,
know what I mean?
and the trot part also comes from is a lot of people confuse it. They think it's a O instead of the A, so they think it's TROTS, like Zach said, or So, anyways, my goal is I want to try to get out tonight yet, possibly, and then I got Tuesday and Wednesday to try to get it done. So I'm
He's gonna
focusing
be on
in
his
on
feet.
beans. Yeah, well, he was on his feet.
How's the wind? Is the wind in your favor for where
So
you're
this
hunting?
property it always sets up goofy. So I look at the forecast, and last night the wind was supposed to be southwest, and then right around 5 o'clock it was supposed to primarily come out of the west. So my initial plan was to go sit the timber next to the bedding area. Well, I went in there. I wanted to pull a chip until I get my Cuddy Link system set up. So I had to pull a card. And then
which is a major pain, man.
It
Once you
is.
get that
It
Cuddy
is.
Link-
I'm so totally stoked
Yeah,
for it.
it's
We got
awesome.
that Black Friday deal. I'm taking
Yep.
advantage of that. Everybody else should. We still have some cameras.
That's
I
a
literally
crazy
just stocked
good
some
deal.
cameras.
That's a
Yeah,
ridiculously
if you
good
get
deal.
a chance, you want to share that bad boy, Zach, so people know
Yeah.
what the hell we're talking about. But anyways, so I went in, I blew 5 does out of the bedding area, and I knew right where they were going to go. They were going to go up to the north, and they were going to go to this cut bean field.
Yep.
So I backed out of the woods, went and sat next to a brush pile from an old fence row, sat there. No deer came in the field that I can shoot, but I watched like 4 or 5 does. What I assumed the 4 or 5 does I busted, come back in at around 3:45. And then just before dark, like 4 o'clock-ish, I watched this 9-pointer that I'm going to try to shoot step out. And then he fed with some does and such. And And then they milled off. They went to a cut cornfield and such over there. So my game plan is I zeroed my muzzleloader again, as Steve would say. I was pretty good at 100. I can shoot about 175, 200 in the field I'm sitting at. So, but the other thing, man. Yeah, I'm excited. Thank you. The other thing I want to talk about is, so the two topics we want to cover before we get into head-to-head walleye is the Badger game.
Yep.
I was totally stoked, just like everybody else in Wisconsin was, for that game.
I was not excited at all because I figured we were going
to be a monkey
annihilated.
Stomping. Yeah.
Like, when we beat Minnesota, I was joking around with my buddy of mine, and I was like, the winner of this game gets the awesome chance to get your ass pounded by Ohio State, right?
Oh,
so after that opening drive, I was like, holy cow.
We came to play.
And then we stuffed them on defense, and we scored again, right? I mean, we go into, 21-0 at half.
Yep.
And we looked legit, right?
I didn't, yeah.
And then I was talking to my buddy of mine, though, because I've been a part of a lot of these games in high school where you know that the other team is legit.
Yep.
And you ran with them for a half.
Yep.
And I always wanted, it's kind of like basketball, right? Like we're in basketball season now, and that one, the team makes that big long run, or they go through enough to get a big lead, and then the top ranked team or whatever starts making their charge. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I read a lot of stuff about they came out super flat in the second half and all this other crap, and I don't buy that for a second. I think Ohio State's just that much better than us.
There's a reason they're number one.
Right, and all we did was slap them around a little bit in the first half because they thought that it was just going to be a cakewalk.
Right.
Caught them with their pants down a little bit, and then we woke them up, and then they said, okay, enough's enough. It's over now.
Yep.
That's really what happened.
Well,
they're just more athletic than we are.
I mean, what does everybody that's tuning in right now think of how that game ended up? I mean, what Vegas had that game, like Ohio State all the way. Like, I'm not a gambler or anything like that, but like you said, they had Ohio State just absolutely coming out and crushing the Badgers.
And I think we played out of our minds in the first half.
What's up, Kyle?
Right? I think we played out of our minds in the first half. I think second half was realistic.
Yep.
And they're just a better football team than us. What I think happened. No, I don't think I know. If the Badgers didn't play like that in the first half, they don't go to the Rose Bowl.
I agree.
Right? Penn State goes to the Rose Bowl.
Yep.
Wisconsin's got a really good 3-loss season, but I think playing the way we did against the number one team in the country, who's got a really good shot at winning the championship, right? I mean, they're just awesome.
Dude, I don't know.
They got athletes just everywhere.
Clemson looks
I agree,
legit.
but I'm just saying they got a shot. They're not going in there.
No, yeah, I agree. It's
they
going
got
to
a
be an
legitimate
awesome
chance.
game.
But with the way we played and then going into it, we got 3 losses going to the Rose Bowl, but 2 out of those 3 losses were against Ohio State.
Dude, you know what would be awesome is we should stream the game here live and just have you and I talking about it the whole time.
We could.
So how awesome would that be?
I don't know if even that's legal. I
Right.
don't know. You know what I mean?
I think with that's probably crossing
television
some waters.
rights, I'm guessing we'd get red flagged for that.
A little bit.
I think so. So anyway, I don't think Bucky has
What's up,
anything.
Brian?
I don't think Bucky has anything to hold their head on or to hang their head on.
No.
I think that realistically, we play a different style of football than these big teams.
Yep.
Right. We don't play the spread. And Urban Meyer had an article on that. We don't play the spread. We don't do those things that attract some of these better athletes that want to show how athletic they are. And look in the NFL nowadays, right?
Right.
Jackson's just tearing it up from Baltimore, right? That's what these kids want to do.
Yep.
They want to spread it out. They want to run. That's what a lot of these athletes want to do. We don't play that kind of football.
No, and now
we play like 1980s football where we just line you up, 340-pound average, and we just beat you in the face.
Grinder.
Well, that's great, and it wins. Obviously, it wins a lot of football games, right?
Yep.
But we're lacking that super athletic quarterback. Now, Cohen played out of his mind.
Oh, he played phenomenal.
I mean, he played a really good game. Did you
Yep.
see that shot he took the last play of the game?
Yeah.
I don't know if a lot of people turned it off. Oh, my God, did he get lit up.
The thing that Wisconsin does a really good job is of putting running backs out there.
Hey,
I mean,
Kevin.
look how many of our quality
for
running
sure.
backs are still in the league.
Oh, 100%.
You know, what's that? Melvin Gordon, right?
Yep.
For playing for San Diego?
I just think if the Badgers need to make a decision. Do we want to be a perennial number 2 best team in the Big Ten, get a shot to go into the Rose Bowl every year, or do we want to try to be a top 4 team?
Well, I think
and if you're going to try to be a top 4 team, it's hard to do that
Yep.
with subpar athletes.
Well, a lot of teams are running that run-pass option.
Yeah, it's just RPOs.
Yep.
It's 100% RPOs. It's all based on the spread, pistol spread options, what most of them are running.
Yep.
That's just what it is. So whatever.
So I don't know what.
I'm a football encyclopedia.
Well, I don't know what the hell Kyle's saying. Go Michigan State. Come on, Kyle. Seriously?
Yeah, I don't know.
Let's see Wisconsin. I like Kevin's made a comment. That's what I've been trying to bring back. Kevin, that what?
Oh yeah.
He's trying to bring it back. That's got a guy after my own heart right there. I mean,
So then yesterday, Packer game.
Packer game. I didn't
Whatever.
watch it.
I'm moving on.
I
There's nothing to talk
if
about.
you can barely beat the Redskins.
That's what I'm saying. Here's what's going to happen. So the Saints lost yesterday.
Yeah.
Right? The Niners won, which is good.
Yep.
You want the Niners to win because they're going to run away with the 1 seed, and they got the tiebreaker against us. The Saints lost, and the Seahawks lost. So and we got a terrible schedule. There's a great chance we're end up like a 2 seed based on schedule.
Yep.
As long as we can win out, right?
Yeah.
But we're not that good.
No, I was listening to the after game on my drive back home from the woods, and they were saying that you can't go into Chicago playing the way we did yesterday and hope to beat the Bears.
Right.
Agreed. I know mine's not popping up with all the stuff.
Well, I got him. Joe's on. What's
No,
up,
but
Joe?
I like it.
I just like how your screen's all black and
That's
crazy.
because I accepted the new look for Facebook.
Well, I'm not cool enough.
I know,
to
I probably
get that
shouldn't have
kind of
done it.
stuff. So
But anyway, so Jones had a good game against an average team. You know, and this is what I find so funny about the NFL, which I love college sports so much more. College sports, those kids are trying to get paid.
Yep.
Right? The NFL, listen to these announcers, and I heard one of the guys on the radio this morning try to play up how good these other teams are.
Yeah.
Right? Oh my God, it's nauseating. No, they're not that good. Like they're like, oh, there's not that much difference between a 10-2, 10-3 team and a 3-10.
No,
There
yeah,
is
there
actually.
is. Yeah.
That's why they lose every game. They're not
Right.
that good. But it's all about making all the fans feel better, right?
Right.
It's about making the fans feel better. It drives me crazy.
Yep.
Oh, I agree, man. The Saints played a great game. That was an awesome game.
I didn't
Saints
get a
Niners.
chance to watch that.
Oh my God,
one.
it was a.
They were saying that's the premier game of the weekend.
100% it was, and it looked like it was at 48-45. And
Yeah,
it was
it was
unreal.
close.
It was great.
I don't-
If you would have watched that, dude. So 2 minutes left, I think roughly. Breeze goes on this drive to win the game.
Yeah, he's a
Drew
stud.
Brees does what Drew Brees does, right?
Yep.
He just found a way and marched him right down the field. Game's over. Niners get the ball. They throw it to their tight end. I can't think of his name right now. What's his name? Anyway, the Niners tight end. And he just goes all beast mode and starts stiff arming and running these guys down. It was
Help us out.
It was one of the coolest plays I've seen all year. He caught the ball, maybe a 15-yard gain, and just went beast mode down the sidelines and just literally took 2 corners for like 30 yards.
Really?
They were dragging his face mask trying to get him down. He just plowed. It was awesome. It was one of the coolest plays I've seen all year. Just that it had that old school football. Like, you don't see that a lot of times now in football these days, right?
Yeah.
Where, guys run out of bounds and all that stuff.
Yep.
Like, he just said, screw you, I'm getting this done.
George Kittle.
Right.
Yeah, that's him. Yep,
George
thank you.
Kittle.
It was awesome. Like, I love that old school, like, smash mouth football, which is like, I like the Wisconsin style.
Yeah.
It just
Right.
doesn't seem to attract enough of the athletes to want to compete at the national level.
Right.
That's kind of the
Yeah,
point
Kittle,
I was making.
Yep. There's Trevor's all
But
over
it was just, I don't know. That play was awesome. I love that. That smash mouth. Just,
Yeah.
Screw you, I'm coming, man. Just, you
Right.
know what I mean? Because
Yep.
a lot of guys in his situation, 15, 20-yard gain, I'm getting out of bounds.
You can even see
Right.
it now. It's trickling down at the high school level.
Right.
They take the step out of bounds instead of putting their pad down and getting an extra
You
yard.
gotta
or two.
find it. I mean, it was all. He just ran
have to-
through
we'll
these
have to
guys.
look it up.
It was just all right. Anyway,
Trevor's he's like game by game, plays right here.
yep, it was awesome.
So, anyways, that's kind of the weekend. It was a good sports weekend for the most part. I mean, it's fun to watch the Badger game. Good job for the Packers. I know the Bucks are still kicking butt, which is
Last time I heard, they were like 19 in a row or something.
yeah,
crazy.
I think it's 16, 17 in a row, something bad. But either way, it's
I don't follow
awesome.
basketball that close,
Yep.
so good for everybody. Yay.
But let's start talking about now.
Head-to-head.
We got Mr. Coots out there on Red Lake, so
I'm assuming that's Minnesota, right? Cool.
I'm hoping so. If it is, I'm gonna message him. I might.
Because I've never heard of him.
I might
Red
need him
Lake
to
in
do
Wisconsin.
something for
That's
me.
any good.
So Paul Coote is right now on Red Lake. I'm guessing it's probably in Minnesota, and he's probably catching some eyes because he just said he's got another one. So we released last week. What day did we do that, guys? Friday, Thursday?
No,
I don't
they're
even
all blended
remember.
Together.
Yeah, that we will be doing, like we just said already, 9 walleye head-to-head events.
Well, first of all, we're doing 9 bass events too.
Yeah, bass is yeah.
9 bass. So what we're doing with these head-to-heads is next year. So bass and walleye, they're going to be the same format.
Yep.
Not same format. We'll get into formats. The tournament structure, the bracket structure. I don't want to call it a tournament because it's not a fish tournament. The bracket structure is going to be 8 8-man brackets.
Yep.
8 8-man brackets. The winner of those 8 brackets are going to win $3,000. right? Buy-ins 500. Just like it was last year.
Yep.
500.
So the application process is still on the head-to-head page.
8 man brackets, right?
Yep.
The winners of each one of those is going to move on to the 8-man championship bracket. No entry fee.
Yep.
No entry fee. 8-man championship bracket. Winner's going to walk away with $10K.
Yep. It's gonna. So
That's 4 zeros, by the way.
that's a
That's
lot.
4 zeros.
That's 4 zeros. It's
Well,
$10,000.
You and I were talking about that's changed since like 3 weeks ago when it
Yeah.
was back at kind of the original.
Yep.
So I mean, we're paying out now. I mean, we're
That's over 100% payout for the whole spiel. I mean, opportunity-wise, no. I was talking to a couple of guys about this. They're like, "Oh, you should have made it a series. I want to fish it all the time." Well, no kidding. Everybody wants to have a camera in their boat all the time,
That's
right?
the-
Right.
The whole point of this is to
That's the appeal.
The whole point of this is it's kind of a one-shot deal, right? You
Right.
get one chance, one opportunity. Who was I talking to about that Eminem
That's
song?
Eminem, yeah.
No, but I mean that's kind of what it is,
Spaghetti on your
right?
shirt already.
Well, what I think that's awesome about the head-to-head fishing is the opportunity for an angler to not, when you go out and you fish a large tournament with a huge field, right? You may just play to your strengths and,
Yep.
just stick to your course. And if you place well, you do. If you don't, oh well. But when you're talking about a $500 entry fee, you've got $3,000 on the line, possibly $13,000 on the line.
Somebody's
if you win
walking away with
everything.
$13,000.
Yeah. And then
in 2 weekends.
You also look at it that you have a shortened time span for your matches. You've got multiple, and you're going a 1v1. All that's doing is literally giving you, as the angler, the opportunity to showcase how good you are directly.
I mean, somebody's going to win 6 matches in 2 weekends.
Right.
Now, weekend-wise, what we're going to do is the first weekends, those 2 events were 2 events AM, PM, Saturday, AM, PM, Sunday, right?
yeah, the
this
first,
year. Yeah,
the
this
first
year.
ones, 2019.
I didn't like that. Well, number one, it put way too much stress on us. Like, we almost died.
Yep.
Like, physically. Like, I was a mental vegetable by the time that was over, right?
Yeah.
I didn't like that.
It was a
The
grind.
the other reason I didn't like that is, and I didn't really think it through, and sometimes this stuff starts happening as it's going, right?
Right.
I liked putting the anglers through the battle of fighting like that, but what I didn't like seeing was actual physical, like, cramping
Yes.
and like guys in the championship round aren't being able to reel because they fished so much.
Yep.
I didn't like that, and then I also didn't like the standpoint of, and it really showed itself. Well, I was afraid it was going to show itself in the second weekend. Was the guys were on the bow mounts the whole time in the wind because it was really windy, and I'm sitting there thinking.
It was Wameng Lee, though.
Well, he had battery problems, but I didn't worry about it after that first weekend because his was maybe he forgot to charge it.
Okay.
I didn't know.
Yep.
But he wasn't having to ride the motor the whole time.
Right.
Where second weekend, where Mitch and those guys and Dylan, who ended up winning it, he was on that bow mount spot locked, and he was riding because it was 25-mile-an-hour winds the whole day.
It's brutal.
Right.
I didn't want a guy fishing for $3,000 to $10,000 now and have his trolling motor batteries die because he won.
Something
that doesn't seem like a fair.
Nope.
You know what I mean? Like
It's
Right.
nothing he can control.
right. Like if you forget to plug it in, that's on you, right?
Yes.
But if you don't have the there's an hour in the middle, you can't recharge your batteries.
It's not enough.
I don't want a guy fishing in the afternoon on a Sunday have his trolling motor batteries die when he's got a shot for $10,000. That's bullshit.
It's
right?
just not fair.
So
Right.
I didn't like
Yep.
that. So what we ended up doing is we're going to go with an AM PM on Friday.
Correct.
Like the early rounds are going to go AM PM on Friday.
Yep.
Then we're going to run the semifinals Saturday morning and then the championship on Sunday.
Yep.
Right.
So it gives those guys some time. It gives us some time here internally to promote it more. It gives us time to do all the digital graphical stuff that's actually good at, right?
Yep.
Get the shows prepped so they're a little bit more fluid and smooth.
Yep.
And then we've only got to work like 6-7 hour days
Well,
instead of 22-hour days.
Yeah.
That's just stupid.
Well, and again, it's going to be a lot easier on the anglers, and we want this to be easy on those guys because we want everybody to want to do that. So
Right. And it's supposed to be a fun opportunity.
Yep.
It's not supposed to kill people.
Right.
Like, and you know what? And we're going to get better content, like just selfishly.
Yeah.
We're going to get better content if those guys got a full night's rest, sleep, and they can retire their stuff
Right.
and charge the boats up and come and fire it up the next day.
well, and the other
And
thing,
it puts it all in prime time,
Yes.
which is the other thing
Prime,
is
yep.
we notice from the streams, obviously that early AM to noon, 1 o'clock is your prime viewership on the weekends.
Yep.
People are up drinking coffee, all that kind of stuff. This puts both the semifinals and the finals in more of a primetime slot, number one for us and our sponsors,
two.
and number two for the anglers. It's just a better fit all around.
Yep. And so the thing that we put out was looking for lakes again. Now, I personally am putting together the lakes, and Brian can attest to this. Like, I'm pulling my hair out.
He's literally pulling his hair out.
And I'm putting unneeded pressure on myself because, like, I don't want these lakes to suck. But saying that, though, like, we also put head-to-head together so we didn't have to fish those main bodies of water that just absolutely get pounded by other tournaments.
I think what the first 2 weekends last year in September showed us was it's a very entertaining format to watch, even if the fishing sucks.
Yep.
Right.
Now, we don't want to put people on a bad lake. That isn't the point. But you go to Winnebago all the time. You go to these places, they got drawbacks too, right?
Yep.
Wind, big waves, all this kind of stuff that doesn't really
Yep.
And these guys fish those lakes all the time. Right?
All the time.
Let's see what these guys have on some water that they don't fish all the time.
Yeah, and
Right.
You know
with
what I
the
mean?
walleye portion, you're going to be thrown on a couple of lakes, like,
you probably never fished.
or you would never think about fishing.
Oh,
for
yeah,
walleye.
for sure.
So as far
There's a bunch of lakes that I know for a fact, other than maybe a weekend bar tournament, there's never been a big walleye tournament on any of these
Yep.
lakes. And I fished walleye since I was 18. There's never been a big walleye tournament on a couple of these lakes, ever.
Tim and Credo are on. What's up, guys? Yeah, so that's kind of what you're going to see. But not to say that to say that, like, we will
stressing
fish.
out already right
yeah,
now.
I know. I got it. Yeah.
Here's our goal. Our goal is we're going to get all this done and finished before the end of the year.
Yep.
We're going to have another podcast. We're going to announce whenever we get close. It'll be at 6 o'clock at night kind of a thing.
Yep.
Just strictly on head-to-head. The way that we're gonna have guys sign up for these is obviously whoever applied is gonna have first dibs.
You and I both.
What?
These stupid
I don't
little.
know where these hairs came from. It's like a cat. Like, who has a cat? We don't have cats here. Anyway, so here's how we're gonna do this: is we're gonna keep the lakes a secret, just like we did, and we're gonna announce the lakes 2 weeks before the event, right? But people need to sign up for said events way earlier than that because they got. On the bass side, they got BFL schedules, they got Wisco schedules, English choice schedules, whatever, opens, whatever else they want to do. On the walleye side, guys are fishing the NWT, they're fishing the AM Walleye Series, the Green Bay Walleye Series, in this area, right?
Yep.
And in Minnesota, they got a bunch of series too. So what we're going to do is we're going to take each bracket, right, and we're going to basically draw a circle on a map.
Yep.
And say that you're going to be fishing in this circle on these dates.
Yep.
So when you sign up for it, you don't know the lakes. You just know within this 40-mile radius or 50-mile radius, right, we're going to fish. I'm going to be, on May 15th, just to throw a date out there. I'm fishing one in this said region, right? I think that's the only way to kind of keep the lakes a secret, but yet let the local guys know, like, I'm going to, do I want to travel to that region, right? Do I want to travel to that region on that weekend and fish these events?
Yep. And we're gonna try to
still keep it because it seems like it's pretty popular. Guys like this whole keep the lakes under wrap.
secret. Well, yeah, so there'll be a couple of lakes that are picked that you'll see some other tournaments on. I mean, that's just
it's just the way it is.
Just the way the world works.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's only so many good lakes
because of the fact that these lakes are proven. Like, we also want to go there, but
and there's a reason why the tournaments go to those lakes every single year. Right? They're really good.
Yeah, there's fish in these lakes, and the thing that's too, like, the equipment that we're building for 2020 is cell reception is going to be better.
Yes.
But we still have to be cautious of cell phone reception.
Even though, so this last year we had one cell signal coming into the boat. Next year we're going to have four. So we're going to have a lot better quality stream, even though I thought it looked pretty damn good already.
Yep.
It's going to be even better yet with some failover and stuff built into it. But in order for 4 cell signal, you still have to have cell signal. It doesn't work with no cell signal, right?
I got to go over to YouTube. I forgot we're on YouTube. And
so there's Tim Myers on here. Definitely needs to be kept secret. I totally agree, Tim. 100%.
Yep.
I think this last year we opened it up 3 weeks. I think this year we do 2 weeks. That just gives guys, if they're working, they find a day or two they can go fish these. But again, they're not going to really, you know what I mean?
Right.
2 weeks ahead to figure out 3 to 5 lakes, and that's the other thing we're doing with them is there will be 3, right?
At least 3.
At least 3, sometimes 5 lakes per weekend, just depending, right?
Yep.
So there's some lakes that we're talking about splitting the lake in half on a couple days. We're talking about moving a championship lake on a third day. We got all sorts of different options we're coming up with.
Yep. So I just hopped over because remember we're on YouTube and I see Matthew's got a couple of comments not related to what we're talking about right now, but he says, "Where's a good place to get on some ice near the Dells coming up from Ohio?"
I don't think there's any ice down there
So
yet.
I can tell you right now, I was down by the Dells this weekend. I went and watched some basketball, JAG, just a game, and I don't think there's good quality ice. Like it was crazy to me. There's
You
no
gotta go
snow
way
down
up
there.
north.
Yeah, you gotta at least come around this area and keep heading further north. Now that's gonna change though the next couple days, but then again it's gonna climb right back up, and we're gonna be middle 30s by the weekend.
Agreed. But once it freezes, it locks up.
Yep.
Even 30s is still making ice.
There's ice down there, but I didn't see anybody ice fishing.
Right.
So
back to walleye.
Back to walleye.
So format-wise, walleye is going to be solos. I've had a lot of questions. Solos or teams? It's going to be solos.
Gotcha.
Not that we won't do teams in the future,
Just
but
simplify things.
we're going to do solos because here's my thing. I grew up walleye tournament fishing. Right, I've been a late comer to the bass world here, and I'm learning a lot about it. There's a reason why bass fishing got bigger than walleye fishing.
Yeah.
There's a couple reasons why. Number one, the solos just forces you to build your own brand. You can't hold on to somebody else's coattails and become somebody.
Yep.
Makes you make your own decisions. You got to figure it out, right? Sink or swim, dude. It's like, here we go. Number two, artificials only. I personally believe, and again, I fished walleye tournaments for 15 years on every pro trail there was. Right? The ability to fish live bait is holding walleye fishing back. It's just my opinion. Now, here's why I have that opinion. I own the Reel Shot.
Yep.
I've been selling fishing tackle for 9 years now, right? When this store opened, it used to be 80-20 walleye assortment to bass assortment, right? I'm not worrying about Great Lakes. That's its own beast.
Yep.
80-20. With the bass world, having these guys forced to use artificials forces innovation and creativity.
Yep.
It forces guys like Ike to come out with this crazy worm that can do 5 things.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't, and the reason he's doing that is he doesn't want to have to find 15 different bags of plastics.
Nope.
He wants one plastic. I can rig it 5 different ways. There's 6 different ways, or
What are
100
you
different
talking
ways.
to flute worm?
Yeah.
Yep.
But that's all been driven based on the need to catch fish, the need to go fast and catch fish. Now that's an MLF thing. That's a whole other conversation, right? But none of that's ever happened in walleye fishing because you can use live bait, right? And at the end of the day now, the plastics have gotten so good in the bass world that I've talked to some bass guys and they argue the plastics are better than the live bait.
Yeah, I would agree.
But on a really tough bite, let's say it's a really, really tough bite and the fish are on beds or something, right? You take a shiner and drop it in front of that fish's face, it's game over.
Yep.
You take a wounded shiner. We played with that when we used to have the tank down in Oshkosh all the time. Justin and I were messing around with that stuff back in the day. You could throw dead bait in there. You could throw plastics in there, and the fish would watch them sink. You throw a minnow in there that twitched once in a while, and it just got annihilated.
Yep.
So there's certain times that a guy would just fall back on live bait just because it will work.
It's going to produce.
So I think with walleye going artificial only is going to force some innovation to these guys. It's going to force them to try different things. It's going to force them to try things that a guy like me can turn around and sell. Yep. And that's what the walleye world's missed for years is the ability for the sponsor to back something and say, I can sell this. I don't care who you are. You cannot make a living selling live bait. You can't. Right. I shouldn't say that. There's a lot of bait shops out there making a living on that. You can't make a big store like mine operate like the Reel Shot.
Right.
You can't operate that on live bait alone. It doesn't work. I don't care. We've tried the early morning thing. We've tried all of that stuff. It doesn't matter. So anyway,
do you want me to answer some of these questions?
So anyway, Kevin wanted to know, can we drop off suggestions, place the bass? Yeah, Kevin, absolutely. Head-to-head Facebook page. Go there and send us a message. Matt's monitoring all of that.
Yep.
If you've got ideas, that's where that's to go. Is there going to be a max distance of travel? So what we're going to do, Tim, is we're going to put that circle on the map, whether it be a 30-mile radius, 40-mile radius, 50-mile radius, 100. I don't know what that radius is yet. Your events will be in that radius no matter what. All 3 to 5 lakes will be in that radius.
Correct.
So when you sign up to fish that we always call them regions. I don't know what the final name is. I don't like a region.
I
circle
zone.
on maps.
Yeah.
Zone. That's not bad. We're gonna when you sign up to fish that red circle on the map. On those days, you're going to be inside of that red circle for that.
So the way we're trying to structure that, or I'm trying to structure that, hour-ish. So an hour, the lakes are all an hour-ish from each other. Yep. So for lodging and all that.
Yeah, lodging.
You can be centrally
located. You can know I can go inside of this circle, and I'm 40, 50 miles in any direction.
Right.
Yeah, I'm putting one together for the walleye. I'm actually pretty stoked about it. It's gonna be like a common ground, and then you're gonna have to go 2 different directions.
And
But
then-
they're all within an hour of.
And then we
a
will
hub.
have the championship circle done at the same time.
Yep.
So you'll know if I win my bracket, I'm going to travel to this
Yep.
this circle to fish on these dates.
And to be fair to, so do we say the states? So they're only going to be Wisconsin,
and Minnesota for now. Yep.
So
Right.
in the fact of the matter is we're going to try to be common ground for both states to meet at for the championship type stuff.
Yep.
So I mean that can kind of give away some information, but not always.
Maybe
you know.
not.
So the common ground will be between 2 states.
More
So
centralized.
more centralized. So yeah, Kevin, go to head to head. Drop me a message. I'm monitoring all those.
So Tim, I hope I answered your question. But so there's a max. It's in that radius, and then you just know if I'm going to pick this circle and I'm going to sign up to fish these dates.
Yep.
That's where I'm going to be, is in that radius. Now,
Right.
you can sign up once we open this thing up and we can figure out how we're going to have people sign up.
select people.
When you sign up, you can fish. It doesn't matter where you are. Like if you want to fish the northwestern region over here, you want to travel 3 hours and fish that region over there because you love that, or you got to whatever. You can travel to any region you want to fish or any zone you want to fish, and then just know that for that weekend you're going to be in that zone.
Well, and that's one of the reasons that we up the payouts too, is because for a certain amount of money, how far will people travel?
Right.
And now that the payouts are justifiable to travel that far,
Right.
hopefully you're either going to break even, you're going to go home with nothing, or you're going to end up smelling pretty damn good out of the whole entire thing.
Well, like I said, like I was talking to one guy and he gave me some ideas on the walleye penalties that we can talk about here in a minute. He was like, "Oh, gee, I really wish you were going to make this a league and all this. Maybe it will in the future. I don't know. I think all right, cool, Tim. I think having this be a 1 shot a year deal, like I said back then, you got one chance to you can hit a home run.
It's like watching MasterChef
That's
or
what I
any
mean,
other
right.
thing.
You
Like,
only
it's
get one
just a
shot at
challenge.
American Idol.
That's it.
Ooh,
Right?
I'm excited. The Holiday Bake Off is coming back
Well,
to
there you go.
TV, man.
Ooh.
That
And
British
you know what?
Bake Off.
Like if you watch the video that Dak put together, the Who We Are
Awesome
thing,
video.
this isn't meant to be a tournament circuit.
No.
Right. It's
Like,
a challenge.
If you live in
Really just a
Wisconsin and
challenge.
you want to fish a tournament circuit, go fish Wisco.
Yep.
That's what Wisco's for, right? And that's
Yeah,
what it is. This
100%.
is a this is a web show challenge.
Right.
I'm gonna put my money on the line. I'm gonna sign up. I'm gonna go toe to toe with these guys. I want to try to win 6 times on 2 weekends and walk away with 13 grand.
Right.
And by the way, get all the PR that goes along with it, right?
Right.
Like you talk to Mang Lee and you talk to Dylan, and I mean, they got phone calls and they got stuff from people all over the country they didn't even know
Really?
Right.
that were watching them.
Oh, man,
yeah.
that's awesome.
You know what? But at the end of it, some guy's going to win that,
Yep.
and he's going to have something that he can take to a potential sponsor and say, "Look what I did!" And there's nobody on the planet that ever pulled this off before.
Right.
Right.
Fishing. I mean, think about it. If he wins, he's going to have to fish a minimum of 6 lakes, probably pushing 10, to win this.
To win it.
Nobody's ever done that.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
no, you could argue the angle of the year in like a Wisco. He's got to fish 5-6 lakes, and he's got to grind it through. But you can come across and you can be a 3rd, 4th, 5th, and be really good and be consistent.
Right.
But you didn't have to win.
Right.
Right. And in this format, I mean, that's exactly what it is. It gives you that opportunity to show, like, I, as an angler, right, knew that so-and-so was at this weight, and I had to fish harder to beat that, and I did.
right. Well,
so
and
you
a
have
lot of
something
this-
to show for it.
You don't know the lakes until 2 weeks ahead. Well, good luck in 2 weeks trying to pre-fish for 3-4 lakes, 5 lakes. Good luck.
Right.
Like, you're never going to do it.
Yeah.
And I think what a lot of guys will do is the guys did last year is they're going to obviously pre-fish the first one,
Yeah.
and then they're going to worry about as this goes. I'll worry about it as I
Right.
go. But
Yeah.
I got to win
If I
first
move
to
on,
move
I'll
on.
go straight to the other lake.
Pre-fish championship, like if you don't get there.
But right. Well, and then,
Right.
to answer pre-fishing question, because I'm sure guys are thinking about that, the lakes aren't going to be off limits other than during competition.
Correct.
Right? So I know when I mean competition is actually day of competition. I mean, this series is meant to be for regional working guys,
Yep.
right, to fish.
Yep.
There's plenty of circuits out there. If you want to go spend 60 grand, go spend 60 grand, right? This is regional guys. So the reason I'm not closing the Saturday lake off or the Sunday lake off is if you win Friday and you want to go fish the other lake Saturday morning or whatever, Sunday afternoon, Saturday night, whatever, be my
can.
guest. Go
for
nuts.
it.
If
Yeah.
you don't have enough time to charge your batteries, that's on you at that point. But I don't want to. I mean, with us being here, I don't want to try to chase people down on who's fighting this
Right.
lake and arguing about who was off that lake and all this crap. I don't want to do that.
And just like with the original head-to-head, the less rules that we have to, enforce, the better off. It makes happy fishermen. It makes happy cameramen, officials.
Well, in order for this to work for everybody, it's got to be financially
more
feasible,
fish
right?
catches out there and all that kind of stuff. So
Well, and I've watched I read a ton on social media land about what people like and don't like about all the big tournaments. And everybody loves watching, like the fishermen, right? They love watching the whole guy gets dumped on a lake, very little knowledge, go.
Yep.
Like they like that. They don't mind. They really don't care about the fish catches as much as you would think they do. I think it's more about the mindset and breaking it down and learning something than watching a guy. Like if you watch Edwin Evers in the MLF champion in the Red Crest, right? He got on that school, which can happen. It was a lot of fun to watch. It went on for 30 whatever minutes. It was fun for like 12, and then it just got nauseating because anybody, my 8-year-old son can throw a chatterbait in 2 feet of water and catch a fish.
Right.
There's no magic to that. Now the magic was finding that spot.
Fish.
I want to learn about finding that spot and why somebody found that spot and what made you.
Right.
What pattern did you take from Lake A onto Lake B that made it work? Like, that's what I want to know. I don't care about you catching 100 fish.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, granted, it's fun to watch.
Right.
Not if they're 1-pounders. I want to see like 5-pounders caught. But
that's one thing that we're conscious of for 2020 is we're actually going to allow more angler talking. Like there was times where we over talked or things got happen. We accidentally missed some guy promoting this or promoting that.
Right.
We're separating church and state this year. We're going to
production
only
will be separate from the show.
Yeah, I was going to say, because to put into perspective for the people watching that saw head-to-head when it was unraveling, we didn't really show a lot of what the studio was.
No.
The room that we're in right now had me in here doing tech work
and you were like
producing.
Troubleshooting service issues, which I think we fixed most of those problems.
And then Brian producing and talking to me about what I need to know in the same room as our 2, 3, 4 commentators, all talking to each other. Where now we've got a separate idea built out so we can have a separate production room, get all that separated.
Like it's supposed to be.
Have some more
but
communication.
At the time, we didn't really know what we were going to do, and we didn't know where it was going to go. And
right.
I'll be honest with you. I never thought we'd be doing 18 events in 2020. I thought we'd maybe do like 5 or 6 and see what happens. But then I woke up one day and I'm like, "What are you doing, Brian? That's not who you are."
Right.
Because everyone's like, "Well, let's make sure it works or whatever." I'm like, "We freaking know it works, man. Let's just do it."
Just go BD.
I woke up one day and I'm just like, I don't ever do anything in my life half-ass. Why would I do this half-ass? I don't ever do anything in my life like that.
He busts through.
I just don't. I don't believe in it. I would rather fail trying to just blow people's minds than be average.
Right.
And trust me, I've failed a lot at blowing people's minds.
Yeah.
I mean, right?
I'm just thinking, I just go back to the lake thing, and I don't want to fail on that one, so that's why.
But you can't. That's my point. You can't fail.
I can't.
Here's how you.
We're gonna go
here's
fish
why
a
you
pond
can't
in the
fail.
parking lot.
Here's why you can't fail. It's because the same thing that happens when you wake up on a Saturday morning and say, "I'm going to go fishing today." Do you know that you're going to go catch fish, or do you know that you're just going to go out and try?
Fishing, right? So this is what I told him. I fished tournaments for 20 years. Here's the only way you can fail. Is if you stick guys on a known shitty body of water at a known shitty time of year. That's the only way you can fail. Well, and I use the example of baiting knock, right? I'm just, right? Yep. Walleye fish forever, right? Everybody knows baiting knock is a great walleye fishery. It's freaking phenomenal, except in the middle of July when the alewives are spawning. You don't go there because all of the alewives on the whole entire bay go into the Menominee River, and they all go up north, and they all go do their thing. There's millions and millions and millions of them. You know how hard it is to compete with a buffet of endless food. Fish just don't eat for 3 weeks.
So that's why we're trying to have ambassadors.
Right.
So that's why I've been in touch with some people. I haven't fully committed to who's doing what.
So that we can blame those guys.
Well, I don't know lakes in Minnesota.
Right.
I don't know all the lakes in Wisconsin. I don't know time frame, all this kind of stuff. Yep. There's only so much information you can find just looking at a computer screen and be like, well, that looks like a great body of water. And then you call the DNR and they're like, yeah, that's a duck pond, bro. That lake's like 2 feet deep the whole entire way.
Well, I thought like there was some negativity about Silver Lake, right?
Yep.
Before the tournament, or for the first 2 head-to-heads. I thought that lake showed itself pretty well. I mean, when
We
we
caught
went,
fish out there.
When we went and practiced it, we caught 15 pounds in 20 minutes.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So there's fish in there. It didn't show up for those 2 days. That's just fish. That's the way
It's
the
just
life
the way the
works.
world works.
But some of our best drama came off of that lake.
Yep.
Right? Kyle losing a couple big ones. Kyle Carpenter.
in the
Kyle
afternoon.
Poyla
Yep.
catching that one at the end after he's grinded all day.
Yep.
But see, that's where all that emotion came from. And
Right.
that's what I think people, the fishermen don't necessarily understand is that the emotion drives the viewers.
Yep.
The viewers drive the sponsors. And that's how this whole thing goes in a big circle, right? Because if the sponsors want back at the emotional stuff, they got to pay the fishermen. That's how this whole thing works. So without some of that drama, see, and I read some comments about why is this guy so amped up over a 4-pounder? Well, you didn't watch it.
You didn't watch it 4.5 hours
Right.
before
all you
that.
saw was a 20-second clip of him getting
And
jacked over a 4-pounder.
And that's what the guys, when I interviewed the few guys that we did for our little video we did, that's exactly what they talked about. They're like, at first, we didn't have a great picked weekend for weather.
And a lot of that was forced because yours truly said, we're just doing this because I'm going to go bigger and better in 2020. We got to have a test.
But they were even like, even between that, just the fact that you can put a face to that emotion on camera where it's not just jumping between 100 anglers.
100%.
It's just you get to see those 2 or 4 guys struggling, getting emotional, getting the challenge
Right.
on.
And see, and I think that works because it's the exact same thing like I was picking on Matt about when he was feeling bad about shooting that 9-pointer or whatever, because the industries as a whole, everything's about bigger and better.
Yep.
It's not
Right.
about living in the moment, right? And that's what I love about all this live stuff we're trying to do in 2020. It's all raw now.
Right.
Right? It's all raw now. It's not a deer track that I should only talk about deer tracking now. It's not as deer track that's all filmed and the camera guy's on the other side of the deer when the guy comes walking up to it, right?
Yeah.
Obviously all of that raw emotion is gone. You can fake it as best you want, but there's nothing like the initial when you walk up to that deer, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing like, a 4-pounder is a legit fish. I don't give a shit where you are.
Oh, that's a great fish.
Yeah.
Especially if it's a tough bite, I don't care.
Right.
I don't care. The guy
If
caught a
you're
4-pounder to win the game to move on. That's a legit.
Right.
Yep.
That's a legit reason to lose your
it's
shit.
pure. You watch some of these shows and you see him catching 4-pound after 4-pound, just like you watch some of these hunting shows shoot 150 after 150 after one. I look at that and I'm like, dude, that's not reality.
But see,
Yeah, I would rather watch somebody like
And
be
then-
emotionally relatable,
Yeah,
to
and
somebody
then
like
it's-
me,
yeah,
in
exactly.
hunting or fishing. Because I'll tell you, when I'm shore fishing, right, or like when the majority of people are like me that just fish to fish and they want to watch something on the weekend, I get jacked up when I'm fishing. I catch a 1.5-pound fish, right? You're a 2-pounder, 3-pounder.
There's nothing wrong with that.
And there's a lot of great feelings that comes from that, and getting to watch somebody be hyped up about that because they have thousands of dollars
See,
on the line.
don't get me wrong. I don't like minnow fishing. That's why we have a 2-pound
Right.
minimum
Yeah,
for bass.
yeah. Yep.
We're going to carry the 2-pound minimum over for walleye.
It's a good fish.
I've had a million people ask me about how long that fish is, about the walleye, because walleyes measure stuff. I don't care. Measure it. If it goes 2 pounds, you get the weight. I don't care how long it is. Nobody cares about how long a fish is.
Well, you're not keeping it.
No,
Right.
but I'm saying I don't. Whatever length, who cares, right? I've caught a lot of 16-inch walleyes that went 2 pounds. Right. I don't care about how long the fish is. Right. It's just the walleye world was forced into this measurement thing to try to keep. So a little known fact,
Catch and
right?
release.
A bass uses 3 times less oxygen than a walleye. So your walleye mortality rate in tournaments is way higher.
Right.
Because it's a lot harder to keep them. So in order to do that with the walleye tournaments, they started going to not keeping fish in live wells, and the only way to do that's measuring them until now, because how are you going to know that angler A is telling the truth? Well, you got a camera on them the whole day, right?
Right.
It's pretty hard to know, hard to fake that. So we're running 2-pound minimum on both. I think we're try it out. I think it's a good thing. What I was going to say before about the 4-pounder is everything's relative.
Yep.
Like if you're fishing Lake Erie, a 4-pound walleye is right? 8-pounders are a thing out there, right? But if you go to Saginaw Bay, a 22-inch 4-pound fish is a big deal.
Right.
Like they don't have 8-pounders swimming everywhere. So I think it's not so much about the way it is on this day on this lake. I kicked your ass.
Yep.
That's what it's about. It isn't about all the other crap. It's Friday Night Lights, man. You show up. Doesn't matter if you were the 1 seed, I'm the 6 seed. I kicked your ass. I'm moving on. Go home.
Right.
Right? That's what it's all about. That's
Yeah.
what sports is about. That's what it's all about.
Take your 18-inch 1-pounders and go home.
But look back to what we talked about, right? The Badger game. Ohio State doesn't show up in that second half. The Badgers kicked your ass. Sorry, you're out.
You're out. It
No,
doesn't
they
matter.
probably still go on to the championship because they had 1 loss and
Yep.
they dominated all year. That committee would have never kicked them out for that. But what I'm
Right.
saying is that's what I think the appeal of head-to-head fishing is, right? Where an angler of the year in a normal tournament awards a guy for being consistent all year long.
Yep.
And I agree, that is what an angler of the year is. And I can speak for the real shot that I'm super jacked to be working with Dylan Treifel, angler of the year winner going into 2020. Super jacked about that. That dude dominated all year. Anyone head-to-head, right?
Yeah.
Like, you couldn't write a script any better than that. I'm super jacked for what that is.
Yep.
But that's why head-to-head's different. Head-to-head is on this day, on this lake, I was better than you. And then I move on. And on this day, on this lake, you know what? Because I might beat you round 2, and you could have just ran away with the first game.
Right.
But you didn't bring your game day, too. I figured it out better than you. I'm moving on.
Yep.
Go home.
Winner, chicken dinner.
You're out.
On any given head-to-head day.
And I think that's why you could feel the drama building when we watched it.
Oh.
And I think that's where all the viewership came from, was I think the people at home were watching this and they could feel the drama strictly because it was lose or go home.
Right.
There wasn't anybody fighting for points. There wasn't any second place because nobody at the end of the day, right?
Right.
Who did Clemson beat in the national finals last year for football? I couldn't even tell you.
I thought it was Ohio State.
I don't even know.
I thought it's a rematch this year.
I'm just saying.
No, was it LSU?
I honestly don't know who Clemson beat. I know Clemson won.
It's worth a Google.
No, but I know Clemson won.
Yeah.
I don't know who was second because nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
If you ain't first, you're last.
Yeah, Ricky
No,
Bobby.
but just honestly, right? At the end of the day, nobody cares. You win or you go home.
Right.
Yep.
And from a tournament series standpoint, I disagree with that. Where I think because it's really hard to win a tournament.
Yeah.
Like, you go up in a Wisco tournament against 50, 60, 70 guys, that's really hard to win one. It's hard enough to win one. It's hard enough to put yourself in a position to win one every year. That's where I think that's awesome in those events because you're fishing against 60, 70 guys.
Right.
I just think on ours being more of a show on a platform, having that winner go home mentality is what makes it more exciting.
Tim Meyer says, love the format as most diehards will. Complainers just can't hang. Yeah.
Well, and the thing is
hate is going to hate.
Yeah, but you got to realize everybody has an off day. Yeah. And just because you lose your match in head-to-head doesn't mean you're a bad fisherman.
No.
Right.
You got beat on that one day. And that's where it's nice with, like, baseball. It's best of 7 series, right? The World Series is best of 7. You know, NBA is best of 7. Football is the only other sport that I know that's one and done.
Yep.
And
right.
I think fishing is kind of like that. Just because if we mean best of 7, Christ Almighty would take you. You don't have enough days to fish.
No, there's
especially from a regional guy standpoint. I mean, can you imagine? I mean, you never stop.
What we should do is run head-to-head all summer, and then the championship has to be during ice season.
No, Jesus. Like actually ice fishing?
Yeah. Head-to-head
That'll never
championship ice season.
Special.
I mean, I think where I see this going in 3 to 5 years is we will have 64-man brackets in multiple states.
Yep.
That's what I think.
Yep.
And then each state will have this battle to be the state champ, and then we can move on to an 8-man national championship,
yep.
Which would be super, super badass.
Yep. So Tony says, I love the 5-fish format, but after doing this format last year, which he means is head-to-head, it was a great change of pace.
Well, see, Tony, here's the difference. I think that and you could see MLF already, you could see MLF changing that they got that heavy hitters tournament. They know the guys are dink fishing. They're not going to come out and say it, but they know it.
Yep.
Right? Like head-to-head, 2-pound minimum. How many times did you see anybody throw a Cinco under a dock? Zero. When did it happen? It happened as soon as the tiebreaker went into effect, and Dylan went immediately that second weekend because he knew it was just a struggle, man. He immediately went into there. I just got to catch a fish.
Yep.
And we need a winner, which is fine. At that point, it's drama.
Right.
But I don't want to see 5 hours of some guy flipping docks with freaking Cincos. That's just boring.
Right.
Nauseating.
Yes, Robert, we have considered a head-to-head ice fishing. There's a lot of things that would make that game a little tough.
Biggest problem with that is if a guy's on a sled or a four-wheeler, how do we get the camera guy around them? And then if you're in a shack, if you're in a one-man shack or a two-man shack, how do we film that?
Well, and how do we keep equipment warm for that long?
Ice fishing's got all sorts of issues.
You look at these shows that are produced on the ice. I mean, that takes them possibly 8 hours plus, and it takes them like 3-4 days plus just to get one show.
See, to me, the batteries isn't as big of a deal as it is the environment and how people ice fish.
Right.
Like if everyone here ice fished in giant ice houses like they do in Minnesota, it'd be a piece of cake.
Yep.
But they don't. I mean, if a guy's driving around on a 4-wheeler with a one-man, how are you going to film that?
Yeah, how are you gonna fish?
See, I can say one thing though, as somebody who's like iffy on ice fishing, I was at the gym, and for some reason one of the TVs in the cardio area was on Fox Sports, and they had an ice fishing show on.
It's probably in depth.
That
outdoors.
was the most boring thing I think I have ever seen in my entire life.
Well, you're not fishing for big fish typically, right? There's a lot of pan fishing going
I think it should.
on.
Well, I think a big part
ice
of it is
fishing
you're
is a lot of
sitting
food
still.
fishing. Yeah,
Right.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean they do target. A lot of them now are starting.
Now, with that being said, on ice is we are working towards
a different format.
potentially filming Surgeon Spring this year.
Right.
Correct.
From
That'd be pretty cool.
From 10 to 12 different perspectives.
Yeah, it's just gonna be a show. It's not gonna be a challenge.
Yeah, it's not a head to head. It's more of a show you can watch live. 10 or 12 different ice camps, fishing or spearing or whatever.
Yep.
And the environment around ice Surgeon Spearing, which I think is super unique.
Oh man.
And it's a one of a kind deal and all that kind of stuff.
Well, how awesome was it last year when you and I went down checking lakes before Battle on Bago, and we went down to what's that one down in Fond du Lac, South Oshkosh, Wentz.
Yep.
And the Sturgeon were there
Yeah.
and stuff like that. It was super cool to see that.
So we're working around a bunch of show concepts, right?
Yep.
Working towards mobile apps, working towards possibly TV app. We got a lot of stuff we're working on for 2020, and none of it's solidified yet.
Right.
So I don't want to say for sure, but there's a really, really, really good chance that there's a lot of different ways that you can get at streaming.
Did I miss something there?
I don't know what he's talking about. Josh, what are you talking about, man?
Cardio? Did I say? I didn't say his name wrong. I said Credo, right?
I don't know.
No, I think he was talking about what I said before
What'd you say?
about in the cardio
Oh, you were
area.
doing cardio?
Dude, everybody that I know that lifts is like, "What's cardio?" Like, bro, you got to do all of it.
Well, Josh is a big guy. He's probably what he means. I don't know. I haven't been to a gym in like 4
I know.
years.
You could tell I need to get to a
Look
gym
at
pad.
this.
I'm
Holidays
too
are
busy trying to
amazing.
fix the wrongs in fishing in the outdoor industry.
Yeah, let's fix them. Let's make them better.
I don't know if we're gonna
Let's make
fix
the
them, but I'm
outdoors
gonna
great again.
I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to just put our spin on it.
Yep.
Because everything
Right.
we've put our spin on, people generally like.
I
Right.
think we're gonna become a like a homegrown outdoor media powerhouse.
Yeah, we'll see.
You know what I mean?
I mean, that's the plan, right?
We're not playing with TV production budgets. We're playing with things that realistically.
I mean, I can't talk about a lot. I can't talk about a lot of it, but I had so many different people reach out to me after those 2 head-to-head weekends that would make your head spin about
Do you even lift, bro?
all sorts of different opportunities and ideas and
Yeah.
stuff.
Well, and that's what.
And most of it I gotta leave at stuff right now because I'm working
right.
on a lot.
But
of it.
that ultimately is what the other show production is going to lead to.
Yeah, I think we're gonna
for-
be going live a lot.
Yeah. For 2020, it could be another major change. Like that's what we're known for here. Is Brian's known for is like just blowing people's minds with major changes. You're going to see that.
I don't like
probably-
status quo anything. It drives me nuts.
Yeah, I was having that conversation the other day. Like how a guy like you goes home and just like continues to do it. Like maybe I just have to go home and shut her off once in a
I
while.
never shut
But
it
last night I couldn't shut it off. Like I was like, oh my god, how do you? I can't function on like 4 hours of sleep.
I don't know.
You're
It's do my thing.
yeah.
see, and I'm going backwards. I used to be able to do that where I'd be up until 1, 2, 3 in the morning, and then go to work right away in the morning. And be totally
My problem
fine.
is I'll have these ideas and I'll roll with it. Like, like head-to-head walleye, head-to-head bass. I'm rolling with all these ideas and stuff, and I'm cool. But then once something happens, and it's like I have a dead spell, I will literally collapse for like a week and a half.
Well, yeah. That's,
Where you won't even see me. I'll
Right.
literally sleep for like 6 days.
Yep.
I mean, I'll get up and I'll just feel like crap, and I'll just go back to bed.
So Bob again says someone needs to challenge Mr. Keller to head for walleye.
Yeah, but I'm a troller,
no
man.
trolling.
So we are going to allow trolling.
Maybe he means your dad.
Oh, I don't. I
Which,
don't know.
yeah.
I'm guessing he meant
We
me,
should
but
do a head-to-head series where we can allow our fan base to challenge one another, and then we film it. I think that'd be
Oh.
good for drama.
We're working on some of that.
Well, there's a
other
nice
stuff, too.
comment by Tim again. He's one of our biggest fans. He says the whole bass world in Wisconsin changed for the better 10 times after fishing tournaments for 25 years. 2 thumbs up.
Awesome, man. Thank you.
Well,
I
and
appreciate
Wisco,
that.
Wisco was a big part of that.
Oh yeah.
Wisco opened this door to this whole media streaming, everything kind of like
Well, see,
that.
I never wanted to run a tournament series, which is what Brent and Kyle did with Wisco.
Yep.
I've always loved the concept of filming and that structure around that. like I spent 7 years up filming the Iditarod, which is the coldest, most miserable, godforsaken place on the planet up in Alaska, right? I mean, beautiful country, but not really what you would like from a filming perspective, right? Like 60 below with a 30-mile-an-hour wind is not ideal to keep your camera equipment working. So I mean, I filmed a lot of stuff, but I'm not a editor, right? Like I don't mind being on the woods. I didn't mind filming it, but I didn't have a guy like Zach that could like take that and make it look really cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's where Zach came along. It was like, wow, that's really cool. And then it's like I get so many ideas, and then this live thing happened. I'm like, Zach can produce super sick shit, but now we got to figure out how to produce that on the fly because I want to do more of it. Where I don't want to spend 3-4 weeks editing stuff.
No,
right.
I want people to see it live now. And it's 2020, and let's just freaking do that. So Trevor says trolling lives matter. So walleye fishing, the walleye brackets will definitely allow trolling. There's going to be 2 rods per person. So it's just 2. That way I don't care what anybody thinks. We're just going to go 2. But trolling for 100%, trolling is a part of walleye fishing. Not trolling, not allowing trolling in a walleye tournament would be like telling the bass guys they can't use a flipping stick, right? Like, it's just a part of what walleye fishing is. They're not always a fish that lives on a reef or whatever. A lot of these lakes, they're out suspended, and that's where your bigger fish are, is out suspended. Yep. And there's only so many ways to get at them and cover water, and that's what trolling is. So trolling's definitely going to be a part of head-to-head, and it always will be for walleye.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think Minnesota's only 2 lines.
It is. That's partly why I went to 2.
So it just got to be fair for both states then for the competing guys.
And Lake Erie's 2. Now, we're not going to Lake Erie, but I'm saying there's a lot of places that are 2 rods per person.
No.
And I think from a trolling standpoint, with penalties, having to have them clear lines and stuff, they're going to be very thankful it's only 2 and not 3.
Lines. Yep, and you'll still catch fish. Don't worry about that.
So penalties, we want to talk about penalties? We want to save that for the head-to-head show.
Let's save that for head-to-head.
All right, fine. But there will be penalties in walleye fishing. I came up with a couple of them. Colin Martin actually had an awesome one.
So you can blame him for some stuff.
But it was a great idea, so we're totally going to use it. So there'll be 2-3 penalties, just like the bass world. They're mostly around the fish and the
easy to enforce.
Yep.
Easy to Now, okay. I don't want to. I got to ask a question about it, but we'll save it for that.
Yeah, you can
show.
talk about that if you want.
What?
I already know what you're going to talk about.
Oh, no, you don't.
I don't.
No.
Okay. You sure?
Well, no.
Start with a C and a Z. No. Okay.
Anyways, the question that I had, you have to remind me of that one once we leave the show. I don't. Boat control penalty for walleye is going to be a little different than bass, right? Because you have your kicker motor going and all that kind of stuff.
Well, they're going to have to. Well, basically, you don't want to talk about penalties.
Well, I know, but I just thought of that one.
The penalty is not any different. If you have a penalty, the only thing you can do, you can't move. The only thing you can do is keep your boat safe.
Oh, I suppose you guys got all those fancy iPilots.
Yeah, so if they serve a penalty and they're trolling, they got to put the motor in neutral. If they get off their spot, they get off their spot. That's part of freaking having a penalty.
Long story short, don't get a penalty.
So no, if they're on a reef and they're trying to stay off of the top of the reef or whatever, no, they can't keep trolling and keep going because that's not the point of the penalty.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you're flipping a dock and you got to serve a penalty, the last thing you want to do is have your boat swing its butt right up next to it.
The dock.
That's just life. Yep. Life's a bitch sometimes. It sucks.
Yep.
Right.
I mean, right? Like that's the whole point.
All right. So let's before we tag off for the day here, let's go over a couple things.
If anybody's got any questions about head-to-head bass, walleye, right now is the time to ask it.
Yeah.
Because he wants to get into stickers.
I want to get into some sticker type stuff and some other cool stuff like we got to do here on the Real Shot. So I'm going to make that fast. If you got some questions, get them in right now. So the other thing, too, is we're busy still promoting the store, still promoting our online sales. Cool thing is we are releasing our ice catalog. It's a little later than we wanted to, but we were waiting on a couple things. Well, the ice catalog, I don't know exactly where it's got to be right there. So that's going to be available flipbook on online. It's going to be available in store as well. Megan did another phenomenal job with it. Products, so on and so forth. So the ice catalog is available. The other thing, too, like Brian was just mentioning, we are full-fledged into sticker production. They are not available for purchase yet, but they will be. So here's a couple examples. We get high demands for stickers. So stickers. Don't know prices of that kind of stuff yet, but we got some cool ones here. This one says net fish and chill.
We print all these in-house, actually.
Yeah, so we got like a walleye one. We're going to come up with some bass ones. We're coming up with some bowl ones, some archery ones. So stickers will be available here in-store and online. shortly. And then the last thing I wanted to say too is Christmas sales are starting. Cross my fingers, hopefully tomorrow.
Awesome.
So we got some 5-day sales going on, and then from there on out, we have one big sale.
So David wanted to know about live bait. It's all artificial only.
Yep.
So troll to your heart's content. I'll tell you what right now. If a walleye guy starts looking into bass worms, it'll make you not want to use night crawlers anymore.
Oh, yeah.
There are so many color. I mean, walleyes are a very color-orientated fish, which is why we sell so many custom-colored crankbaits. There are so many colored worms and all that. Dude, I really think that once a guy's forced to not use live bait anymore, they're gonna actually like it because number one, plastic doesn't rot in your cooler and smell like death if you forget to take it out.
Well,
I'm speaking from
dirt
experience.
in your carpet.
Oh my God, there's so many advantages of not using live bait. It's unreal.
Fast fishing.
You don't have to worry about keeping it alive, cold, whatever. So you control harnesses. You can do whatever you want to do, but it can't be. It's got to be artificial only. And then Justin, we are looking at bass and walleye in Minnesota. So we're kind of the tentative plan is 4 bass in Wisconsin, 4 bass in Minnesota, 4 walleye in Wisconsin, 4 walleye in Minnesota.
Yep, with the championship being
somewhere neutral-ish.
Neutral ground.
Neutral-ish.
Yeah, like I was with.
Yeah, Tim, we will definitely be making head-to-head stickers.
Yes. Yeah, the sticker production is not going to end now. So if anybody's got any cool
ideas,
ideas, let us know.
If you got a cool idea for a sticker, or if you have a club or a organization, they're great fundraisers. Wisco did a great job with those this year.
Yep.
They're a great fundraiser opportunity.
All that stuff.
Yeah, we can produce as many stickers as we want.
Yep. No, I was gonna say I was when I was filming on Green Lake. I can't remember who I was with, but he was using this worm that I was like, man, that thing is legit, and I think we carry it. I think it's a mega bass worm that we carry.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, it's awesome. And then the Kitech. I mean,
think about this from a walleye standpoint. I always trolled harnesses with crawlers because it works.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
But why? There's not a fish on the planet is out there eating a night crawler that's swimming through the water 22 feet down in 40 feet of water.
Yeah,
like there's no night crawlers swimming. So the shine from the blade, obviously it's imitating a minnow, and then you get the scent from the live bait, right?
Yep.
That's what's going on. You can't tell me somebody can't come up with a swim bait crawler harness alternative that catches them just as good, maybe better.
It's out there, I'm sure.
But nobody does it.
Right, no, I know.
That can maybe catch them even better yet because, like you said, the Megabass Plastics, there's that Perch Mag Draft 6 back there. Dude, oh my God. Like, what the hell?
Well, look at the crossover that we got from the Kitech world.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, it's silly how many guys use
the
Kitech
local guys are ready in the rivers in the spring, right? It's zip lures. They're not using artificials. The ringworms, we always have the ringworm craze.
Yep.
It's happening. It's just not forced as much as this will.
No. It's an easy fallback.
Yep.
Not working, I'm going to tie on a crawler or a minnow, and I'm going to try to catch fish. Well, now colder hands in this time of year, spring time of year, your hands get cold because you're constantly changing out live bait. Now you got to keep them alive. Now you got to have an additional cooler space for that kind of stuff.
And see, and this is the thing that these guys don't understand with the live bait is it works. I totally get it. You want to go catch a limit of walleyes and clean them up. Crawler harnesses are awesome. A slip obber on a reef is awesome. It's some of the best ways you can do, right? It's fantastic. But at the end of the day, when I'm sitting down with our Normark rep and he's coming out with, because they're chasing the bass market, right? They're coming out with bass bait after bass bait after bass bait after bass bait after bass bait, and I'm sitting here looking at the walleye thing and it's stale as hell.
Yeah.
There's very little new. There's very, very little newness in that world because nobody's driving innovation. Nobody's driving, you know what I mean? Other than the Parsons with Berkeley that's come out with a couple of crankbaits in the last couple of years.
That's it.
But you look at the bass world, there's like 17,000 companies that have crankbaits, and they only make one thing here or there or whatever, and that's all driven based on the,
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, Robert, that's a cool idea, man. Head-to-head youth is a really cool idea. I'm going to have to table that. I got to stop at some point.
Well, and so the main idea is to do 18 events. Doesn't mean we may not have an event here or there the rest of the summer.
We're talking about, I got a friend of mine who lives out east, and we're talking about doing a standalone event for him.
Yep.
So we got and that's the other thing too is if you've got a really cool idea and you want to have an 8-man head-to-head bracket, hit Matt up, send us a message. We totally hear you out.
Yep.
I mean, I'm all about getting the content and making people have some fun. I mean, if you've got a fundraiser and you're like, man, this would be awesome.
Yep.
And we totally hear you out. There's no guarantees because we're already trying to find 9 weekends to do head-to-head bass and walleye stuff. So
yeah, Yep.
No promises, but we'll definitely hear you out if you got a cool idea.
Well, and
Right.
here's one thing that people got to consider when and this so some of the ambassador people that I've been reaching out to, they're like, "Well, there's other tournaments. There's other tournaments. We're 8 guys.
Right.
We're 8 guys.
Literally
we're
at the
spreading-
most 4 on the water at a time.
Yep, and we're spreading it out at
Well-
the most between 3 or at the least amount 3 different lakes.
Well, here's the other way I put this, because I know a lot of guys that fish Wisco. Now, we will not have a head-to-head bass event in Wisconsin on a Wisco weekend. Okay, that's
Nope.
right. Like, we're not going to do it. That's not going to happen. But let's say we had a head at Wisco and right.
Yeah.
We're not going to compete, so I'm not saying that. But I'm just
No.
saying if there's a different organization, a different event on a weekend.
Yep.
That's what I would do. I would fish head-to-head Friday. If I win, great. I fish Saturday. If I win, great. I got a way better shot at $3,000 on Sunday versus fishing a 50 boat other tournament
Yep.
on a Sunday, and I would just eat the entry fee that I put into that one. I mean,
Right.
maybe I'm a skewed individual, but that's what I just hedge my bets that way.
Thing about
Right.
it is there's only so many weekends. I see we froze here. Are we done?
No.
We're
Oh.
still good?
Oh, did it? It did
Yeah,
drop.
it
So you have to
froze.
come back.
Why
Looks
does
like
it do that? What the fuck? How come it
that's
never?
on both.
How come it
not
never
even just
did that?
Facebook.
How come
Oh,
it
I
never
forgot.
did that for head to head?
So can they
No
still
idea.
hear us yet?
No, I think it's dead.
It says that we're still streaming, so I think you just got to reopen it back
Oh,
up, and
are
there's
we-
people
maybe
watching.
we didn't die.
Oh, I see it here. I apologize, guys, over on YouTube.
Oh, so
Um,
our thing just froze.
how many applications have you guys received so far for bass? Oh my Christ!
We had just for whatever it's worth. The first weekend when we announced it, we had over 120, I think, in
Yeah.
those 2 days.
Yep. Yep.
For whatever that's worth.
Yep.
So
So then again, Matthew over on YouTube. I apologize if I wasn't monitoring those questions. What about using scents with artificials?
yeah, do whatever you want. You just can't use live
Yeah,
bait.
Yep.
I mean, anything's a go within the rules, right? Within the structure, as long as it's not live bait. That's all there is to it.
Yep.
So
So can you put a jigging
I don't
wrap
know. Is
out
it
there
still
with a
is it
minnow
still
head?
on? Because I just tried to refresh it and it's just saved.
Yeah, it's.
Oh, okay.
It's got to be still going.
Did
Let
it
me-
kick it
let me-
into a new one?
Yeah, it will do that.
Oh, okay. Well, I hate Facebook. Which
But
is totally
it
why I
looks
hate
like it,
Tyson.
it looks like it did it on both.
But
which
that's
is
totally
weird.
why I'm trying to get off of Facebook's platform.
Right.
Yep.
I'm trying to get off of YouTube's platform. We are trying to do some things. I'm just going to leave it at that. A lot of it's being driven from the firearm business because we can't advertise firearms anywhere.
Yeah.
So we're working on some stuff.
All right, cool. Well, let's end it right there because we'll have another discussion on all this kind of stuff. So cool. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Again, if you didn't get a chance to ask your question or make any comments, you can either leave them here on the Facebook page for TRS Live or the Real Shot, or send them over to Head to Head if you want a private message. We are monitoring all those comments, and we will do our best in a fast time to get a hold of them, especially over on YouTube as well. Don't forget, we have a lot of cool things going on for Christmas here. We got a giveaway with a full Striker hardwater suit. We have a camera, a Recon 5 that we're going to be giving away. A lot of that stuff's going to be in store, but there's going to be some also.
How many more of those cutty back systems do we have?
I just put another 5 out. I think there's 11 left.
Wow.
10 or 11 left, and that deal is not going to last either yet. So there's a lot of cool things happening here for the holidays. So if you're like me and you still have to do a lot of Christmas shopping yet, we are going to take care of you. The cool thing about that is we can hold your hand, and if you aren't sure what that outdoors person in your life wants, come in here and ask one of the knowledgeable sales staff that we have. They will personally take your time or take the time and walk you through the store. We have gift cards available. We have stocking stuffer type things in the firearms, hunting, fishing world. We might even have stockings that are going to be available, TRS branded stockings. So a lot of that kind of stuff. Pay attention to our social media pages. Again, if you have any comments, go ahead and ask them. We will monitor them. We'll send you messages back. But I think we're going to wrap it up, Brian.
Unless anybody's got a question real quick
Yeah, we
on
can-
anything head to head.
Yeah.
But I think just to recap, all right, just to recap.
Recap.
We're doing 8+1 bass events, 8+1 walleye events, and the +1 is the no entry fee championship
Yep.
for both. The winner of each of the 8 man brackets is going to fish the 9th
Yep.
Entry free championship for $10,000.
So the 2 states that we're concentrating on is Wisconsin and Minnesota. If you are not in those 2 states, you most definitely can
Oh,
fish 'em
absolutely.
if
I don't
you're
care where you're
chosen.
from. That's what we're going to
Yeah,
be
yeah.
this
We're
year.
just picking those, and then we're going to branch out from there as 2021. So on
We
and
had
so
a
forth.
lot of interest from way down south.
Yep.
I just logistically for us year one, that's a little scary.
Yep.
Just
Right,
being
yeah.
honest.
Dude, it's hard.
a little scary to be in Texas.
Yeah. Even though we want to go to those spots because we can
we
start
will,
fishing sooner.
Yeah, we will get there. I just think in 2021 is probably super realistic.
Right.
To start getting to really expand it.
Yep.
It's not going to take us long to ramp this thing up.
No.
If 2020 goes off like we think it's going to go off with everything we got planned, 2021 is going to just be that much exponentially higher. Like,
Yep.
It's not going to take us long to is that for a bass or a walleye, Tyson? It's not going to take us long to ramp this up, but for us to go from 2 events to 18, 18 events is a lot of events. I don't care who you are. That's a lot of events.
Yeah. Yep. So the application process is on Head to Head Fishing. You can go over to that Facebook page.
No, the Facebook
And
page.
on the website.
Or go to therealshot.com. It's right on the
Yep,
front page.
yep.
At least I think it is.
Yep. And then, so pick it up over, fill it all out over there. Geez, what else to be?
Yeah, if you go right to therealshot.com, the link is on the top right of the homepage. You can't miss it. Well,
Yep.
you can miss it, but I can't help you then.
Right.
It's front and center. All right, well, we should wrap it
Let's
up.
wrap it
Here
up.
we go. Bass. Best largemouth lake I've ever seen. Well, there you go. Write it down, Matt.
Bass Lake?
Yeah, bass. He said
Or
best.
does he mean that Gull Lake, Minnesota?
Gull Lake, Minnesota is best bass lake largemouth. Chase walleye is all individual
Individual.
this year. We might get into teams in the future.
Yep.
The system's built to handle teams, but we're going to do all individuals for year one in walleye and bass.
And bass. Yep. So any other questions here? We'll
stay on here for a couple minutes.
Yeah,
if
we'll
anybody's
give it a
got any
couple more
questions.
minutes here. I'm popping over to YouTube. Remember, this is on YouTube as well. And that's a cool thing, so you'll be able to stream all the head-to-head events on YouTube and everything else again
Right.
for 2020.
Well, we might not have them on YouTube or Facebook.
We might have them in different
We
platforms.
might have them somewhere else.
They might be someplace else. They might be just lost in outer space.
But they'll
Cool.
definitely be easy to find.
Yep. All right, cool. Oh,
Oh,
sweet.
Chase is sweet.
Chase says
No,
sweet.
I just the head-to-head thing. I just think we start with the individuals, right? If it's that crazy popular, we can always get into teams in the future.
Yep.
But if we're doing that, we're talking like the production crews or exponential.
Keep everything individual. That's what Sean says. Yeah, that's what we're going to do.
That's the plan for now.
That's the plan.
Well,
Yep.
and if you see the success of Wisco, right? It'd be stupid for us to
Right.
not see the success of Wisco, which is a solo team format.
Yep.
Or a solo event, and then sit there and go back to teams, right? Guys are fishing Wisco because they want to stay away from teams.
Yeah.
It
That's-
saves the drama.
That is a good point, Paul. We sell that magnet go.
So walleye guys will be allowed to use nets.
Yep.
We didn't talk about that. They will be allowed to use nets, but there are some
Penalties.
catches around the use of the net. Or not the use of the net, but how you have to use the net.
Yep.
There are some things that we're going to do with that. But so for the bass guys, you're like, well, that's crap. Why do they get to use a net? Walleye boats are 3 feet off the water, 2.5, 3 feet off the water. Being out in big 3-4 footers. I don't want to see some guy with 3 sets of trebles buried in his wrist.
No,
Right.
Like I don't want to see that. Nobody wants to see that. That's not good for anybody.
Nope.
And not to mention, you can belly. I know you can belly or tail grab a walleye. I totally get it. I've done it, but they're not as easy to grab as said
Right.
bass. So, and it's just a different game.
Going down by sick puppies.
Oh, there you go.
I'll have to listen to that one.
So,
All right.
Joe, you want to know if we're keeping the same?
You guys
thing on
keeping the same awesome. Yeah. Yeah, you guys, those guys that film definitely get
there? Well,
first
and
shot.
with the walleye thing, we're gonna need. So the walleye events are going to be on the same weekends as the bass events. So we're going to need a minimum of 4 to 8 new 4 to 6 new guys
Yep.
just to film the walleye side.
Yep.
But we'll get through
So
them.
if a guy's interested in being a cameraman for bass, he can fish walleye. If he's interested in being a cameraman for walleye, he can
Yep,
still fish
absolutely.
bass. Ambassadors, just so you guys know, like if I pick you as an ambassador, and what I mean by that is I need somebody in some of these lakes that are not close to here I can be like, time of year, landings, lodging, other kind of things. So I'll be reaching out to those people as we pick. And a lot of guys have just been throwing free information at us, which is phenomenal.
great.
It's helping me out a lot.
Yep.
But an ambassador cannot fish the zone that you're helping me with.
Yep, you can fish a different one. You just can't fish that one.
Yep. So if you help me with a lake in Minnesota and that's your zone, well, then you're going to have to travel a little bit further south.
Hey, Trav, no, we haven't announced the dates or the zones yet. We will have that done before the end of the year. We are going to be scheduling a podcast here soon. We got some big things and we got to work on this week yet for other projects. But as soon as we get that done, we're going to get them out there. It will be out before the end of the year. I know it's late compared to some of the other circuits, but people got to realize that we didn't even know we were doing a 2020 thing until October.
Right.
Right. Like, so there's a lot to put together to have 18 events in next year. So it's just gonna be a little late, but that's just what it is.
And to be conscious of all the other tournaments. I mean, we're trying to not pick. So
and your biggest struggle is trying to stay away from said series. As much as possible. It's not gonna happen all the time. As much as possible, staying away from the things other guys are like, because I don't want to take away from anybody, right?
No.
But I'm just trying to add to. But there's only so many weekends that are free.
Yes.
From April through August. Like there's
Yep.
only so many good weekends. There's
Right.
only so much time available.
Yep. And I would say for walleye, that's time frame. For bass, it's obviously gonna be May.
Right. Just do it illegal.
Just to do the ability
Right.
to start fishing for those fish. So, all right, cool. Well, any other questions? You got about, I don't know, a couple minutes to get them in. Otherwise, we're going to wrap this one up.
I'm hungry.
Me too. My
It's
guts
like
hurt.
1:30.
Is it food time?
It's
Yeah,
food
it's time.
time.
All right, let's wrap her up.
All right. Sounds good.
All right, cool,
Any
everybody.
other questions? Head-to-head Facebook page. Hit us up on there or the Real Shot, whichever is easier for you.
What's up, Austin?
I would definitely head-to-head where most of the head-to-head stuff goes.
Yep.
So,
But if you have any questions on like Real Shot sales, Christmas type stuff, you can comment on our Facebook page, call the store, all that kind of stuff. But watch for some upcoming sales here starting hopefully tomorrow, and then some other big sales happening shortly after that. So cool.
Awesome.
Thanks everybody for joining us today. We appreciate everybody sticking with us for the little longer than normal TRS Live, but we had some great people commenting. We had some awesome information we wanted to get out to you. If you are going out doing some ice fishing, make sure to be safe. If you're remaining muzzleloader or archery hunting, again, be safe. But we got a lot of cool things on sale in the store. We'll talk to you everybody later.